First, thank you for having me. After 15 months of genocide and the total destruction, lively streamed for everyone to see, on top of 76 years of occupation and injustice, it's shocking that the Palestinian people are still not brought to their just land and not being justified by the United States. We expected from United States to the new U.S. administration to pressure Israel to end its occupation and to help the Palestinian people return to their homes and to rebuild Gaza and to end the occupation is the only solution forward. This sanctions on the court is illegal, is not accepted. The response by the international community, the massive response, indicates clearly that this is refused totally. It is a way to protect Israel from consequences for their crimes and genocide, which all legal experts and even Holocaust survivors have widely condemned and proved to be against the law and in breach of the humanitarian law. We, the Palestinian people, after 76 years of occupation and genocide, we expected from the new administration to be the peacemaker that they wanted to be by ending the occupation. The response by the international community, the wide response by almost unanimous declaration and reassert of the two-state solution, it clearly indicates that we are not suffering from the lack of solutions or plans, but we are suffering from the lack of will, and that will lead the United States to change its policies and to realize that the Palestinian people are suffering and have a just cause and they require freedom and justice.
So what impact could these sanctions have on the ICC's legal proceedings, particularly in cases involving Israeli officials such as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu?
Of course, it's regrettable that these sanctions have been executed by the United States. It will, of course, hinder the work of the ICC, but the support from the international community, I hope it will fill the gap, and this unanimous condemnation of these sanctions reiterates that the international law and the international order is still the world demand. And I believe that the rest of the nations and the rest of world government is going to fill this gap and protect the ICC from any attack or collapse.
So, sir, how is the international community likely to react to the U.S. sanctions on the ICC, and what steps could be taken to counter them?
Now we heard all these statements from almost every country in the world refusing these sanctions, in Europe, in Middle East, in Africa, and everywhere. So we have a unanimous consensus that the ICC and the ICJ is of importance to the international, to the humanity and to the international law, and we will protect it. So these sanctions must be confronted. We have to confront it through the United Nations, and we have to confront it through the legal system, the world order that we have established after World War II to protect the world from, uncounted measures or from governments that want to adopt tyranny in the international arena. The world wants solutions and wants peace, and that peace comes by facing the occupation, not by hiding the occupation under the carpet and blaming the victim and discussing these crazy plans of moving the Palestinians out of their land. This is our land. We are here in our land and we will not move. We are unremovable and we demand our freedom, and the world is demanding for justice.
Yes, so do you think that the ICC will stand firm in its investigations into the war crimes in Gaza, or might the U.S. pressure force the court?
I believe the ICC would stand firm. The Hague Group that was announced just recently also reaffirmed that the world is not going to settle down to adopt any policies that violate or breach human rights. This is an international cause now. This is the ICC we are talking about. This is the top of the hierarchy of the international law. If we don't protect it, that means the total collapse of the total world order. Of course, there is no nation in the world and no government in the world would accept such calamity to take place. We have to defend the world order, and we have to defend our humanitarian universal law by facing the violators, by facing the occupation. I believe these decisions are not going to survive in front of the unanimous international response.
Mm-hmm. So what precedent do these sanctions set for international justice and the ICC's ability to hold world leaders accountable?
Well, they have the jurisdiction, of course, to investigate in the Palestinian territories, as we are members in the United Nations, the observer state, and they have all the rights to protect the human right and the human dignity. The world is now demanding that this violation be confronted, not to happen again. When we said not again, when the world said in 1944, not again, means not again. This is the beginning of a collapse to the world justice system.
Yes.
And I believe that this unified front from the global government and this wide response that is categorically refusing such ethnic cleansing plans and these sanctions reassert that the world refused to adopt a global sovereignty. Mm-hmm. This is the political power we have. They can't face the entire world. The entire world, we are talking about Europe, we are talking about the Arabs, we are talking about the Africans, we are talking about Latin America. So it is unanimous rejection of such approach. Mm-hmm. Because the peace begins when justice is applied, and justice demands that the Palestinian people who accepted 22% of their land, which is named the two-state solution, deserve to live free, not to empower and impose sanctions for the sake of the occupation that want to acquire more land, and even discussing to acquire land in Egypt and in Iraq and in Jordan, in which has been named the Greater Israel by the ultra-right fascist Zionists. This has to be confronted as crazy ideas that shall not take place in our political arena. The world needs to unite and to form a front to defend the international law.
Sir, allow me to ask you, how could these sanctions impact the ICC's credibility and independence as a global judicial body?
I didn't hear you quite correctly. Could you repeat?
I was asking you, sir, your own point of view regarding these sanctions. How could they impact the ICC's credibility and independence as a global judicial body?
The ICC is credible. It's a higher authority of the law. The sanctions are to remove this credibility. It cannot be removed. When the world is 194 countries, it's not just United States and Israel. When the world says we want the ICC, that means we want the ICC. And the sanctions must be confronted. And we should not allow these sanctions to take place. Whatever the sanctions that the actual body or content of this sanction, we have to face it. Those people are defending the law. Those people are protecting human rights and must continue their work in order to save the world from governments that will want to go out of the line.